welcome to today's vlog. So many of you asked about what we talked about with our fertility doctor after we just had our recent miscarriage. We wanted to go in and talk about what the heck.
We have had now 4 transfers with 5 embryos. We have had 2 chemical pregnancies, 1 that didn't attach, and then 1 11-week miscarriage. And so we are here after our last chemical. We were pregnant, then we weren't.
I was just talking to my girlfriend the other day. Chemical pregnancy sounds so demeaning to a pregnancy because she technically is having one, but we decided an early miscarriage is more connecting and loving on people's hearts that are going through it. It's still a loss of a dream, no matter how far along you are.
Yeah.
But chemical pregnancy in the sense that we did not get to ultrasound for either of those pregnancies and the 11-week, which was our slow growing process that you guys were along the ride. Most of you guys were. There's playlists if you guys want to go see what those journeys were like. So we went into our fertility doctor's office and pretty much I was very emotional at the time and was kind of just like, you better give me an answer. Like, what the heck just happened? We put in 2 embryos. It was foolproof. We had done everything. So we don't share so many details over here on the vlog. Like, for example, of what my exact protocol is. So I know sometimes it gets confusing on what's going on behind the scenes. But my protocol has changed every transfer. And so we have tweaked it to what my body needs a little bit more with different hormones. And we have added heparin. Once we found out that I had a clotting disorder, I have factor V Leiden. We changed to increasing folic acid or folate to my protocol since I have MTHFR. We have added prednisone because that is what we call like the whole kitchen sink. You just like do everything. So when people wonder of, well, obviously we haven't thought of everything. No, literally, like we know so much about IVF and infertility. Like we know it all. And we have done almost everything. Yeah. And so this last protocol, I didn't understand, like, why didn't this work? And it all came down to we didn't genetically test.
And we don't know how many of all of them that did miscarry were. We also don't know from the very get-go how healthy we truly were when we did the retrieval itself.
Right. And so every time you do a retrieval, it's like you get that one batch. And so we don't know if it was just that.
What did I say that wasn't true?
I don't know. You always say stuff that's not really true.
That's not true.
I
say everything that's true.
True.
Everything I say is true.
No, when it comes to medical stuff, you pull stuff a little bit.
You know what? I'll just be here like a little birdie on your shoulder, just encouraging you. You're doing great. You're doing great. You're awesome.
Okay, so it kind of all went back to genetic testing, and we chose not to do genetic testing because we were only diagnosed with male factor and the endometriosis at the time, so it was kind of, we were young and the chances of having genetically abnormal were low, so I think it was like 70% should be normal in our population with our diagnosis. But that was probably and obviously not the case with early miscarriages and all that we've been through. It is very indicative of genetically abnormal. We first went in saying, why didn't we do genetic testing? We should have done it. And looking back, we learned a lot through the process of, having to do recurrent loss panel and finding stuff about me. But then also the embryos they were all A's and ABs. So they were all great quality, but they weren't super huge. And so if they don't get to a certain size, even though they're good quality, sometimes they're not able to genetically test those embryos. So we might not have even had, some of them would not have been able to even be genetically tested. And then this is also super controversial, but there's a lot of studies over in, like there was one in Italy about they were putting in genetically abnormal embryos and they turned out to be a full-term pregnancy.
25% of them.
25%. So let me explain a little bit more of what that means because I don't want people to get not the right understanding. So now our lab that we use, so pretty much, yes, it's important to have a great doctor. Totally important, amazing. It's even more important to have an amazing lab. They're the one doing, once they have the retrieval, they're the one doing everything. And that's the most important. And our lab has like an 80% success rate. It's one of the best in the country. The person who runs it goes around and helps other labs fix their issues. Like, it is one of the best. And so we're thankful to be with them.
Mm-hmm. It's not just a hosting lab, it's a teaching lab. I made that up, and it sounds awesome.
Why do you make this stuff up?
Put it in the science book. Go for it.
Oh.
I'll let you do that.
No, you can't tell people things and
it's
not
science.
real.
It's science.
So, anyways, but I said at the end of the appointment, I would not do another retrieval if we did not do genetic testing. But going back to how they genetically test. Sorry. This has been a new process even for our lab, is they don't just say normal and abnormal anymore. They put them into 4 categories. They put them into genetically normal, low mosaic, high mosaic, and genetically abnormal. So genetically abnormal is multiple chromosomes are completely abnormal. The high mosaic means that, and same with low mosaic, these are the ones where it's a little bit questionable, and that's where they were putting in the embryos and they were coming out as babies because, sorry, I know you are so bored.
I'm doing great. You guys are great. You're awesome. Hope you had a great day. Leave in the comments below if you did. Let me just do my job. My job's to love you. So
low and high mosaics is where the questionable is of could they become babies or not, because sometimes those abnormal cells of the mosaics maybe only end up in the placenta and don't end up in baby. And so that is where the question lies. And so the reason I'm explaining it a ton to you was because we probably talked to our doctor for half an hour about the details, the research, how they're frozen, how they're tested, how genetics work, how all of it. Like, we literally talked forever about this. And Philip's bored talking about it again.
No, I'm not. I love this stuff.
So we talked about how we could genetically test, and if we had low or high mosaics, we can decide what to do. For us, we probably would transfer low mosaics, maybe at least 2 at a time, because the chances of them not making it would be there. But we would at least go into it knowing, oh, these are genetically normal, so these should work out, hopefully. And so that's around the genetic testing era. Explanation. Too much words. I sound like you.
Wow. Is that a compliment?
I don't know.
I think it should be.
Okay, so another thing we talked to our doctor about is an ERA testing. And so that
Earned
means
run average percentage if you're into baseball. But if you're in infertility, I have no idea what that means.
It pretty much is testing if you do a mock cycle of pretending you're going to transfer, and then on the day that you would transfer, they go in and do a little biopsy of your uterine tissue and see if it's the perfect time to transfer or if maybe you need another day of progesterone. We can do that. We've talked about it. The only thing with that is it's really highly successful or better when you aren't getting, you're not implanting at all. And so my second transfer, we are thinking that it was a chemical. The second one was miscarriage, and then the third one I started testing early, so we saw that it was a pregnancy, but it dropped off. Thank you very much. So we talked about the ERA testing. We talked about natural killer cells, and so I am actually getting tested to see, but my doctor said that's pretty much all we have left, is that even if my natural killer cells come back negative, they're not elevated, which natural killer cells mean that your body fights off pregnancy. It sees an invader and it goes and fights it off. And the treatment is controversial according to my doctor, where there's just not a ton of research behind it. They've seen good results, and so she would want to do it anyways. But
controversial meaning that there's not a one way or another that has been proven over and over and over.
Well, yeah, no, it's like she is research based.
Not controversial like people are mad at each other's sides.
Right.
Controversial like it's not fact yet.
They're seeing trends in it working with intralipid injections.
Can I just jump in here? Medicine is a practice.
Right.
We're practicing a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the struggle of this thing.
And we're practicing trying to naturally get pregnant too.
Booyah.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know this question. This should just be a Q&A format. I feel like they would love this more. Let me just ask you some questions.
Okay.
If it hasn't worked up to this point, what makes you think that it will?
Right. So the big thing is the genetic testing.
You think that's it?
So my girlfriend that is a nurse practitioner in the infertility world, she is also a patient herself, was saying it doesn't happen all the time, but even people in their 20s, which we were when we did our retrieval.
28.
We were 28. Doing genetic testing is helpful. Usually you don't have to in that population, but on occasion you will find young people that end up having 80% of their embryos are genetically abnormal. And so that's what we could have been doing.
And is that just a small sample? Like, that's obviously not likely and not normal.
It's not likely and not normal.
But we are very abnormal. So I guess going from there, what is to make you think that it would work again if, let's say, the last batch was completely abnormal?
Right.
Completely genetically abnormal. What would you say would be the likelihood of us doing another transfer and there actually being something totally different from the last transfer? That would be my obvious question.
Yes.
I know that you
would wonder the same thing. I am glad you asked that question because...
Did you know I was going to ask that?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because we are going to bring you guys along over the next 90... This is me claiming that we are doing another retrieval. Let's just say we are. Over the next 90 days...
Yeah.
We are going to get our bodies prepped. And we have done so much research. We have learned so much. My doctor, one of the things on here is that she wants us to do antioxidants for at least 90 days. And I can share with you guys in another video about all of those and all the products that we're going to be using. And the detox is the start of it. The supplements and antioxidants are other than that. And we have a lot more of fertility support and all the kind of fluff that we're adding.
I don't know what that means.
The first time around, I think we just went in super confident. We didn't take any vitamins. We didn't try to eat. I mean, we ate healthy, but like we weren't like trying.
I went like on a diet to make my body not so heavy and hot.
No, we didn't do anything.
What was when we did the heavy and hot thing?
I don't know.
Not hot and heavy. That's totally different.
We were really
and not PG.
We were really busy during that season because we were about to jump into we were putting IVF on hold, so we were quickly doing the retrieval and then putting it on hold so we could do our adoption. And so we were a little busy, and so I don't know if it could be different. Yeah. But I think if we didn't do one more retrieval, we would always wonder if it was just that batch and can we make it different, and would genetic testing help us? And now that we know, like our first two could have been genetically normal, but I wasn't on heparin, and so I don't know.
I think we've heard from so many people that you can have an entire retrieval that of genetically abnormal or transfers that don't work, and then go back, do it a separate way, do it a different way, and get a completely different result. The likelihood of it being completely all abnormal again is actually very slim.
Yeah.
Like the likelihood of it being all that way again, no doctor, we've talked to so many, we've talked to so many physicians, so many people, they've never said, here's your case, it's never going to work, stop trying, don't do that. They've never said that.
I was talking to my OB the other day, and he's like, go for it. Like, he's like, you're young, like, do it. Like, he was so on board.
Yeah, so I think that's where it's really hard for me, is like, I'm not a huge IVF fan.
No, he is not.
I'm
not either, to be honest. And I want to say this one thing, because we get this all the time, and I'm going to say it. I could say it till I'm blue in the face, but people will still ask me.
Yeah.
Alex, you're so obsessed with wanting to be pregnant. And, okay, I understand. IVF is crazy. And when you can naturally get pregnant, it seems like, well, you're going, like, it's like crazy towns, like, of how much IVF is involved. And it is crazy towns. But to be honest, if I'm never pregnant in my life, that's not true. I've been pregnant. if I don't carry to term in my life, I'm going to be okay. I am not over here completely grasping, like, I cannot live life without this. Absolutely not. And I could say this over and over again, and I know people don't believe me, and that's okay. I am obsessed with adoption. We would absolutely jump down the adoption, and we will jump down the adoption path again. But while we are still young and we are like at this age, we are just trying to see if this is another way that we could grow our family. Would I like to experience pregnancy? Yeah, that would be awesome. Am I desperate for it? No. But I'll keep saying that until I'm blue in the face for the next.
And I think it's okay.
vlogs.
So I think it's really hard because we do get so many comments in all these videos. So if we don't say these things in every single video, people will just jump on. Maybe you're here for the very first time, don't know our story, and you go, well, why won't they just stop?
Guys.
That's why we do say this over and over and over, because like it's genuinely true, guys. Like Kinsley, Callie, they're everything to us. Like biology or not, I will never obviously carry a child, so I don't have that connection, but she does, and she has a desire to do that. But at the same time, at the end of the day, at the end of our lives, we'd be more upset if we didn't try it one more time versus just saying, okay, that's it, move on with life. It has no bearing on the love for our daughters, has no bearing on anything like that. And I think that you guys genuinely, and I think this is like a very honest moment, I think if you were to look somebody in the face and say, down the road, right, let's say they have 2 children through IVF, but their first whole transfer series didn't work. You're not going to look at them and go, wow, that was such a waste. I think you're going to look at them and you go, you must have gone through so much. That must have been so painful. That must have hurt so bad, those miscarriages, Alex. That must have hurt you so bad, Philip. Just having to not only be positive for the family, be present with the girls, be there when she's sad, be a force of strength. Also helping build a ministry and a channel that supports and constantly just loves and uplifts you guys in the midst of our own pain. I'm going to look back years from now and I'm going to go, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of how we've been able to handle both our pain, our experience, our brokenness, and also the joys of our life. Yeah. I'm not going to look back and go, gosh, I'm so glad we stopped because that was just too painful.
Totally.
Because the reality is, guys, a lot of pain, infertility is terrible. We have learned how to build on building blocks and become stronger and stronger at every level of disappointment.
And that's just part of our family, is that each child added to our family multiplied our love, but it was really hard and really painful.
Yeah.
And each of our kids so far coming into our family, it's been a really hard and really painful journey. For them,
for their birth families.
For their birth families, for us, all of it. It starts with pain, it was brokenness, and it's beautiful. Yep. And our future children are going to be the same way. Yeah. It was hard, it was painful, it is beautiful now.
But I want to say one more thing.
Yep.
Okay. I just would be more mad at myself if I didn't say this.
Yep.
I know that there are things in your life that you feel were really hard. And maybe you're out of that season. Maybe you look back and you go, man, school was impossible. Well, it was impossible for me too. I can say that from experience. But you're out of school now and you have that job, you have that career, and you're going to say to yourself, I'm so glad I did that. That was so hard. But I'm so glad I didn't give up. We feel like that. We feel like we don't see this as even an opportunity to give up. Like we feel called to this. We feel that this is our desire to build our family, and you guys probably feel the same way about certain things in your life. Maybe not just having children, but other dreams that you might have. And I think it would be so impairing for us as a community to walk around and go, well, I think they should do that, and I think they should do that, and I think they should do that. Because you're not in our shoes, and we're not in your shoes, but we're here to love one another and care for one another and speak truth into one each other's lives. Like so many of you guys have done, saying, I don't think that treatment will work for you. I don't think that will work for you, and I'm so sorry that it didn't. And maybe if you guys are like, yeah, absolutely, I was right. I knew that wasn't going to work. Well, that's not going to help advance this conversation. That's not going to help us grow. It might help us learn and be really sad that you wrote that down and were really mean to us. But at the same time, like, we're here about, like, the positivity. Like, we're here to, like, love one another because we are all going through all sorts of things in life, and we have to be there for a community. And so we're doing this because we believe that years down the road, we're going to be glad that we tried versus sad that we didn't try.
Sad that we didn't. Exactly.
And we want to teach you guys how to be strong, to build your marriage in the midst of this. We want to show you guys how to not give up. And we also want to show you guys like to be grateful like we are every day with what we already have and the blessings in our family.
Totally.
In the midst of this process.
You're never going to be happy in your destination if you weren't happy along your journey.
Yeah. And what story do you know that wasn't hard, that wasn't worth it? Mm-hmm. Because I can tell you as a fact, because school was hard for me, I became a better person because I got through it. Anything that comes easy in your life might seem awesome, but years down the road, you will not have the character, you will not have the lessons, and you will not be able to take the tears and the pain and put it up to something else and go, I'm resilient now. Yeah. I am not going to fall. I'm a fighter. Yeah. I'm worth it. I'm amazing. God calls me to this. He's going to pull me through it. And I just truly believe that like this whole experience for us has been worship. This whole experience is, God, you're bigger, you're greater, you're stronger. We are broken, we're hurting, we're in need. And we need you as a Savior in our life at the same time as to just show us how to build community and to find a way to become stronger together in the midst of this journey.
And trust your plan. Okay, I think most of it we covered. I can talk to you about what protocol that we're doing to prep our bodies because it is very in-depth and there is a lot to it, and so we cannot talk about it right here. So if you want me to do some sit-downs on that, leave it in the comments below. If you want it over on my channel, leave that in the comments below so it's not specific to here on the vlog. But so many viewers were asking about what our appointment was like, specifically with our doctor, and so that's why we're doing a sit-down over here on the vlog. Trying to think of anything else I asked her. Oh, one thing, I'm kind of embarrassed that I asked this, but I was asking, are all these medications going to harm my body long-term? And
great question.
It is a good question.
Some may not.
Well, that's Philip pulling facts out of the air, which
I'm
is
a doctor.
Really good. I know. Philip's Dr.
By
Phil.
experience. Doctor.
Oh, not okay, not talking about
that's so cool.
Okay. But my doctor is very research-based. She was a scientist before she, double made, all this stuff. She is, research-based. And
do you know what I love about her?
What?
That she's been through infertility. She has kids through infertility treatment.
She said, with all the research, it would have come out if any of these were causing and affecting anything. And she said, even with the stimulation meds, even with the progesterone, the estrogen, everything, that it's safe, that there's no proof of it causing long-term. I still don't like stuff going in my body that shouldn't be there, but
she's so natural. She doesn't have Lysol in the house. She makes her own soaps.
We're going to talk about that on the videos, that the protocol, because I got rid of a ton of stuff a long time ago that is ruining people's fertility. I'm not kidding, ruining people's fertility.
We're reading books on this stuff right now.
We are. And we will talk all about the stuff you need to get rid of, the stuff you need to add, the food, the supplements, all of that. Leave it in the comments below how much you want that.
And put an awesome emoji of a baseball glove because we talked about ERA earlier. Or
oh, video. Okay, sure. Anything baseball. The last question I left the office was asking, is there anything saying that I can't carry a pregnancy? This is when
you are so gutsy. Do you know that?
All the time. Sharing this?
Yeah.
I know.
You're a rock star.
We get this comment all the time, all day, every day, of why don't we get a surrogate? I know, it's very...
We've had friends offer, we've had many of you offer, we've had a lot of people offer.
Yes. So why don't we get a surrogate?
Right.
So I have asked my doctor many times, is there anything showing that I can't carry? I carried to 11 weeks with a baby that was genetically abnormal, and my body was fighting to try to hold on to that baby. The other chemical pregnancies or early miscarriages, however you want to determine them, that really had nothing to do with, being able to carry. It's just a matter of figuring out the details of getting the baby to stick and stick well that is genetically normal. And so my doctor did say to me, though, she said, but a surrogate is a proven uterus. It is proven that that uterus has been able to take an implant and hold on and grow a baby to term. And so she said, yes, that's why that conversation is even there. But we aren't there. We aren't to that point. If we had done genetic testing, if all of these were genetically normal babies and I had not been able to, and we had done the natural killer cells, we did the if we had done everything, then at that point, that's all that's left. But we aren't there. We're not even close to being there. And I know we get that question all the time. And so hopefully maybe you guys can help us out a little bit and respond to people as nicely as you possibly can in the comments of when they ask us, why don't you get a surrogate? I don't understand why she doesn't get a surrogate. Just if you can explain that with infertility treatments, it's a journey, and there's a point where, yes, that is something that would be needed. If you choose that, we would have to... Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
I'm looking at them. They think you're crazy.
I am crazy. That's okay. So we aren't to the point that is something that we would need, and to be honest, we would rather move forward with adoption than doing a surrogate.
Is that true?
That is very true.
Do you want stretch marks?
I like not having them, but I mean, I would like to experience pregnancy, so I'm willing to take them.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
That should never be the reason why you hire a surrogate. I don't want stretch marks. That's not a good enough reason.
I would agree.
Okay.
I have stretch marks. You can have mine.
Oh my gosh. All right. We will end the vlog here. Thank you guys so much for watching today. Hopefully you were slightly entertained and learned what we talked about. Hopefully we answered all of your questions. There are some other videos we have done of what brought us to this point of infertility. We did that just recently. If you want to go check out that video, we'll leave it linked or in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Go let your love multiply. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
My back hurts from sitting. Ooh.
Don't you know?